Hey y'all,
Yeah, what's up, y'all?
just about to chop some of that lemon jack.
Oh, you're actually smoking flowers? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, bro, I love it all. I like
know
to
you
eat
do.
it, smoke it, and whatever. So, well, all right, I'll get organized as we go. What's been happening? Is it still your birthday?
It was my birthday was over 6 minutes ago, but
Aw, happy belated birthday.
it's good. It's all good. It's all gravy.
good?
It was a good one.
That's good, man. That's good. Did you have a celebratory drink, or did you
I had
the weed?
a scotch.
A scotch? Nice.
And he had a pickled Jameson.
And some whiskey. I had with some whiskey. I had 2 drinks.
A pickled Jameson.
Yeah,
it's
horrible.
No, it's a shot of Jameson with pickle juice.
Oh wow, that's
And it's
interesting.
Like
delicious.
I said, horrible.
I'm gonna plug my headphones in just in case this audio and recording's gonna mess with each other.
You're a hater.
All right, got you still?
Yeah, buddy.
Boom. there it is.
Gotcha.
So, the week that was, huh?
Oh man, you want to get into this Chester shit? I know that we're just doing like a little pre-show right now, but when I read that, I was like, okay.
I'll say hello
I've
to
got
my
some
great
of
new
it.
puppy.
Oh goodness,
Look at the size of her already. She's only 4 months old.
that is Sam. Why do you like such big dogs?
I like horses, and I'm not allowed to have them in my backyard. So
I have a 3-pound Chihuahua at the house.
that's awesome.
She's 3 years old.
Pretty sure that's the opposite of things.
Do you know the funny thing is, I had a Chihuahua before I had these great beasts.
Oh man! If
I went
had
from the littlest
land-
thing that I could just roll on and nearly kill each time to now these things roll on me. Fuck me up.
That they shit something fierce though.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it. I had to clean up a good couple of weeks of those in the house before they started getting outside. She's
Yeah,
deaf, so it's not the easiest task to house train a deaf dog. When they don't look at you, they ain't looking or listening.
Yeah, I believe that shit.
Yeah. So I'm just chopping with my big ass. Remember the grinders we were talking about?
Holy shit!
It's like, what was that other one we were looking at? What was that thing? Oh no, I was in Arizona. We were looking at these massive grinders, and they had a free guitar pick with it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I was gonna say, who the fuck are you confusing me with?
I got pretty high on come on. And a lot of it was with you, so
Very true. There's a lot of that.
it was. So yeah, you just touched on the Chester Bennington thing briefly. That's that was a bit of a shock and another loss to the industry, huh? The music industry, not our industry, but
Yeah, it's interesting. I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, I think that suicide is a terrible thing, and I definitely think that there are some people who are, very either desperate, sad, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But I mean, your buddy dying, I know it's tough, but that it seems, a little selfish.
that's
Hate to
what
say that.
that's what what's his name? Head from Korn came out with. Did you see that? All the reports
No,
on how he was he called him a coward, and then the media just picked up on that and went ape shit. So
I mean, I think he kind of touched on something which is a little bit true. It's kind of like,
I mean, the man had 6
Yeah.
kids. It's not exactly like just a quick out, huh?
well, it's like you got to think, like you got one life, and yes, your life may be really fucked up right now, no matter how much money or fame or whatever is going on.
Mhm.
But you killing yourself affects fucking so many other people, and it's exponential because now it's his kids, of course, will have a huge impression on them, but his immediate family, surrounding fans, his bandmates who kind of as fucked up as it sounds, get fucked out of a careure.
Yeah, everyone's at a
certain
loss,
extent.
right? No one wins out of shit like that.
Yeah, I just think that, like, I know it's hard, and I really think whatever the fuck is going on out in the world, whatever created nonsense, whether it's a fourth dimensional being or Jesus or whoever, that I don't feel like that. Like I don't want to kill myself, but still, like that shit's. It just seems like a fucked up way to go, and that's maybe just because I'm vain and I like myself.
No, well, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to love yourself. That's not the thing that these people go through. But I don't know. I saw some interesting stuff on it. As far as there's a lot of fake news came out around it. So there was one that the whole murder. There was a murder. I don't know. It was put up on a news website, and the dude apparently just spreads crap news. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't see that at all.
Obviously, people were trying to link the whole Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington thing, and I was even sucked into it for a minute. And it was what was it? It was Chester and Chris Cornell were supposedly trying to unveil some massive pedophile ring, and yeah, anyway, everyone was like he was murdered, and there was suspicious circumstances of both. And obviously, when both spouses say, we didn't expect our partners to kill themselves, blah blah blah, then it raises doubt, and then people start stories. So you never know, huh? But I looked into it, and it seemed like a bullshit website. So we can put that one aside.
Yeah, I mean, I hear. I mean, I hear that there's a guy who's reaching out for help or whatever, or maybe didn't reach out for help, and his buddy dies.
Yeah,
how it can drive him to a really dark place. But I don't know. It's hard for me to believe anything that I see.
That's why I had to look. I was like, ooh. My conspiracy brain was like, yep. And then I was like, all right, got to delve, got to look. And then the more you delve and look into these things, it's always started by one dipshit.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of that shit too is as sick as it is they're just trying to, try to push any kind of bullshit news just to ride a little wave of fame and get a few likes or followers to push some other kind of bullshit.
I've seen everyone cashing in on the Linkin Park t-shirts straight up.
Oh man,
sort of shit. Fuck man.
I had an ad like earlier this morning when I was getting up that was a custom personalized shirt for Linkin Park with my initials or some shit. Those fucking corny shirts that they put up for everybody. Yeah, exactly that. And I was like, oh fuck, man. Wait till the vultures circle. Jesus.
Exactly.
Christ.
They're still in the clouds, man. They're still just found where the motherfucker is.
Jesus, right? The body's kind of still warm, probably.
It's definitely.
Well, and then I heard the rumor that it was like a David Carradine situation.
Oh yeah, so like 3 days worth of reports. First day was, it's suspected. Second day was when the bullshit thing came out. And then third day was found by a belt on a door. And I was like, well, there you go. That's in excess, and the old David Carradine chokey wank, huh?
Well, and it's kind of scary because when I first heard that, I was like, did we prophesize this the last podcast? Because I was talking about people with doorknobs that are loose in their house.
Oh, true.
They probably jerk off and masturbate, and then you started talking about inexcess and the chokey wank.
Oh shit, it's happened.
Oh no.
Well, you put things out in the universe, some people's gonna grab at it, but if only Chester was listening, huh?
Well, if only it wasn't Chester and it was all of Nickelback.
Oh no. Would have been something good for the world. That's a raw nerve. I like that. I hope there's no fucking nickel crack fans out there.
Well, it would have been an automatic Nobel Peace Prize recipient for whatever happened.
For the belt.
They would get or for themselves for committing suicide.
Oh dear. So that's a pretty good segue into what we had coming up for the next thing, huh? Like just music in general. And the first thing I had was like, can you work without music? And I certainly can't. The moment I sit in my room for a minute and there's no music, I'm like, it's like a reset button. It's like,
well, it's kind of interesting. We went to so I've been working all day, and I was actually working on Brian. Brian's a good buddy of mine.
Sweet.
And so we've been listening to all kinds of weird music. There's a big group of artists in here, so there's some crazy fucking playlists.
Yeah.
And but what we ended up doing after work is we ended up going to this little bar to listen to gypsy jazz, and it's one of these things that we recently got into. But the reason we went there is one of the girls who's been tattooing at this shop the longest, who's kind of like running and manages the shop.
Yep.
Her husband is one of the performers. He's actually playing the guitar. And so we went up there. met up with him. We're sitting and chatting, and you had just sent me, or I had just found the Instagram stuff, and I tossed it over to her. I said, "Hey, this is what we're talking about today. What are your thoughts on it?"
Cool.
And so she started going into it, and she's like, "Well, I absolutely can't work without music."
Yeah.
She's like, "At least some kind of music is going to be going on, even if I have headphones in." And she said, recently I've been listening to like, she'll listen to like Alan Watts, or she'll listen to some podcasts if she's not going to be listening to music.
Yeah. Yeah. Just something stimulating in general, whether it's turning on one part of your brain or another. I think that, I kind of go between the two. Sometimes I try put on podcasts when I first get to work and it's good while I'm setting up. And then by the time the client comes in, I'm already in like a set sort of zone with that podcast. And then I find I have to like start again, put some music on, find something that we can both sort of start off, get the day going. So I think it kind of turns on different parts of the brain, huh?
Yeah. And I think it's definitely has to do with what your approach is. I think with you, music kind of makes a little bit more sense, because a lot of your stuff, at least that you're doing now, is less, mechanically driven as far as technique. It's more of like, hey, I'm making something out of nothing here with some markers. We're going to find an image and then go from there. Whereas like, I think people who are more methodical, who have to go in and kind of like, color pack in very specific ways, are doing the whole living an inch, square inch at a time.
Yeah.
Maybe they could get a little bit more into books on tape and podcasts, because that's where I find myself at. If I'm at a convention and I don't really want to be too talky, when I'm sitting and working and trying to get some shit done, I'll throw an audio book on and nice. Pile through some shit,
Yeah, and just get in the zone. Yeah, and I like that you said that, because it makes me think of when I quite enjoy watching the live video aspect now of Instagram, and watching certain artists that I like. Just Toffee came into my head first, because you try to guess what kind of music someone listens to, and it was very much like hard styles, and it was very like the way he was going through it matched how he tattooed. And
right,
it also made me think, like when you just said that, if I'm going through something very organic, then I will generally go for some kind of music that will match that. So something a bit more like progressive, or something that won't have that typical 4/4 beat, or will just like, veer off topic of its own song sort of thing. So my brain wanders and finds that next element to add something in. So, I find myself going back to Tool and sort of things like that. What's the other one? Animals as Leaders is always a good one for when I'm trying to like conjure up those initial things. But yeah,
right.
Yeah, like you said, even just depending on what tattoo I'm doing for the day, if I want something metal, then fucking metal, huh?
Well, I think it happens to me all the time. I mean, like I've done portraits of hip hop artists, or even movie characters, which that's getting into a whole different aspect. I've had people either bring in iPads or have a laptop, or now like in the private studio I've got a TV, and if I'm working on a Hellboy tattoo, we're gonna fucking probably watch some fucking Hellboy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So there's other aspects of this.
Doing a band tattoo and then just chucking that band on all day, huh?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. I've done that with like doing Biggie Smalls portraits, or you do a Tupac portrait. You're like, we're just gonna listen to the greatest hits right now and just really feel this and do whatever the fuck we want. I mean, one of the other things too is, I think, for your customer, having something going on that kind of matches the experience, kind of completes that little cyclical circle. I think you can go extreme with it. When I experimented with Tabori, like hand tattooing in the Japanese way, I was looking up like ethnic Japanese old type music, and trying to
singing or something.
Some Inuit throat singing.
Yeah, why not?
Some scream singing.
Exactly.
Well, I was doing that because I was like, I gotta get in the zone. Let me listen to some crazy shit. Some taiko drums.
Taiko. Yeah, man, for sure. My brain just went wandering then, thinking of all the things I had to say through that last convo. But yeah.
Well, I mean, what do you think, Brian? Like, what is your opinion on like how important music is for you getting tattooed?
I was just thinking that next time when we tattoo the bender on my leg, it means you get to play Futurama for me.
Well, I mean, that's totally possible. I mean, do you think you could sit through a tattoo with no music?
I mean, I definitely could. I
like that attitude.
The tattooing process is like
that's why it's a good client.
Think to yourself, because you're just kind of sitting there trying to endure the pain, trying to put your mind through it and tell yourself to sit still when your body's telling you to move the fuck away.
Exactly.
Yeah, very, very true. Very true.
I think it helps the brain get away from what's actually happening. I mean, I have clients that haven't gone through many tattoos before and they want to know, how do I get through this? And it sounds stupid for me to say it now because meditation was something that I never thought of or never thought I'd end up doing, but it's pretty much how you get your way through it, right? You meditate, you try to put your brain somewhere else, and then all of a sudden back to that same spot. You got to start all over again. And I think music can help you travel through that a lot easier, especially if it's something you enjoy. You get into the music. So yeah, all of a sudden you're like, shit, I'm getting tattooed. No, this does hurt.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I think like sharing that experience with a client is pretty cool too. I know a lot of artists that just like what they like, and the music is for them for the day rather than for their clients. So, is the music for you? Is it for them, or is it for both of you? I think I find an interesting part of it as well.
Well, I know that there's different types of clients, who feel different types of music, but there's also different types of artists. I think for me, at least, one of the coolest things about tattooing, aside from actually doing the work of tattooing, is meeting people and trying to work with them. Yeah, and absolutely. I think I get a better feel for what I'm going to do for this person if we can kind of get to an even deeper base level of connection other than me stabbing them with needles. I think getting them to listen to their own music or talking about their own music and then putting that on the next time they come in so that you can get a little bit deeper connection makes me tattoo them in a better way. I think that I have a better connection.
Whole experience easier, right? It makes the whole day easier. And if you're doing multiple days, if you're talking bodysuits and stuff, then it's so much easier to understand someone. And I think that's something I learned later on. For a while I was like, no, I don't really need to know my clients and don't need to know personal details. And you don't, but there's certain connections you can share and you're like, oh, sick, remember what we were listening to last time and all that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty cool part.
Yeah, I think it's important. It's one of the things that you have to do. I mean, I get that there are some artists who just want to jam out to exactly what they want to do, and that's how they work because they're a little bit more manic or they have to be specific. But, that kind of puts me at odds with my own opinions because I'm like, hey, it's a collaborative effort here. These people are fucking really uncomfortable.
Yeah. But like at this point, I need this right now. I've been there too. I'm like, look, man, I've only got an hour left of the session. It's like, I'm just going to crank this metal and we're just going to fucking get through this. Okay. So, yeah.
Take it easy, Matt. Have a good night.
He's cruising. All right. Well, I'm gonna do the same. Then I got the quick roundup for the first little break. So let's have these ciggy breaks, and I'm gonna go do a little house hunting in between. So
okay. And then when you,
I'll be back in like 15. So peace out to all y'all. We'll be back in like 3 seconds for everyone else. So
all right, brother.
Peace out.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, you too, bro. All right, and we're back from the smoke break.
What up, y'all?
Audio. There we go. So what's that crazy thing you're about to smoke?
I don't know what it's called. I think it's just like an electric nail, but like the thing inside gets That's like cool. Red hot. Yeah.
It's like just like a fucking vape pen with a ceramic attachment and a fucking bong dab attachment basically.
Yeah,
it's got rig attachment.
Yeah, it's got like a little titanium nail action going on. Oh man, hey, I was so excited to tell you about this. So I met the Hershman from Denver.
Hershman.
So I met this dude Ken. He hangs out with the people that run the shop here in Denver, and they do like art nights and shit like that. And I was like, oh man, this guy's really cool. And then like his wife just throws him under the bus. It's like Ken makes full melt hash, just like that, just like at the party.
Now you throw him under the
bus. Well, nobody knows Ken's last name. I mean, he was gonna bring me a care package. Well, I'm gonna give him a shout out. Yeah, like when he sends me a care package because he's gonna give me a care package. Nice. Yeah, because he wants to come on because I'm coming back in September at the end of September for a convention here in Denver.
Yeah, cool.
And then I'm gonna do another extended stay like guest spot, but I'm gonna come back then, and he wants to hop on the podcast because he's done a bunch of podcasts. Have you ever heard of the guy Bubble Man?
Ooh, nah, I can't say I have.
Okay, so that's a dude who created these bubble bag hash systems where it's
Oh.
these different screens that you put ice and
Now it's
you know.
ringing a bell. The old bubble hash is ringing a bell.
So this guy has been traveling around with that dude using the system for like the past like 10 years or something like that. He just won 2 awards at the last Chalice Cup. He's a 5-time High Times Cannabis Cup winner. Like, and I just met this guy in fucking passing, yo,
That
and
is
I
cool as
freaked the
fuck.
fuck out. Yeah, but of course he would live here in Denver.
Yeah,
and
where
hang
else?
out, and hang out with cool people. But he showed me some of his wax, and it's like white. It's like sand.
Oh,
It is almost 98% pure trike heads. It's like crazy looking.
yeah. I need to see that, and we need to get this man on.
I can pull up his Instagram.
Go for it. If
I
you
already
want
got it. I already got his permission.
Awesome.
So
Right. You got
I mean, this shit.
the old sharing there going.
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up first, and then
Nice.
dive right in. Yeah. But yeah, interesting people up here.
Yeah.
Interesting people up here. Let's see. Let's get the share going.
How much longer you got in Denver?
I leave Thursday morning.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers. Cheersy, cheers. Yeah, I think you gotta allow my share as well. So
Thought that might happen. Manage participants. So while I was having that little quick smoke break and run around in the car, I was listening to some music and spurred on the more need music for everything.
I think it's really necessary as humans, man. Like, it's one of those other universal languages. Like, the whole music thing in general. I mean, you got to really think about it. Like, amongst the things that we call art, they're usually a universal language. Like, we have this saying called state of the art that we use for science because it's the state of the art of technology. But all of that is based on mathematics and all of these other universal languages, just like the visual languages of, making illustrative art, painting a face, doing something like that. The same thing is to be said about music. So I think these are kind of essential things that are just part of human culture. They make us human.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I was even like what you brought up just then about the mathematics and being the universal language. I was having a good conversation with my client yesterday about numbers and how cool numbers can be. Even for a little bit, I thought numerology and all that was, just some pseudoscience, just crap that someone had made up. I looked into it and there's some pretty cool stuff, even just like believe it or, believe in however you want. But just numbers can be quite cool and math can be quite cool too. And being the universal language, I think was the key that you touched on there. That's in any language you could talk to someone through maths. And even if we want to find some aliens or some shit out there, we'd kind of do it the same way, huh?
Well, I think it's important to keep in mind that, like, the reason we don't know how to, like how I don't know how to make a cell phone is because I don't know the scientific language of this high levels of math, computations, the engineering, all of the stuff that this is based on. So it's like, I'm not smart. I'm just using shit like that other people have made,
Exactly.
So
their smart mathematic code makes it easier for us.
Oh, yeah, because they speak this universal language and can break technology down and make it integrate with people who are dumb.
How'd you go with the sharing screen? Has that come up yet?
I brought it up already. I don't know if you have allowed the share to come through. You're not seeing it?
I didn't see an allow share. I've got in the manage, I've got allow record, new share. I don't.
And so you're not seeing anything on your side?
No, it allows me to share from mine, but no, I'm not seeing where I'm allowing you to do it.
So you can't see. Yeah, that blows. You can't see this.
I can find it on mine.
You sure can.
Let's find it on
Here,
the
I'll stop
mine page.
I'll stop it on my share and we'll go back to yours. And then guys who are watching, we're sorry. We'll fucking switch back to full view face.
See, we'll get back there. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
We've had requests for faces. You really want to see this face?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thinking you got to hide that face to get a house, apparently.
Oh yeah. I was just saying before I let my girlfriend go do all the house hunting, and I just stay in the car. It's easier, with the face like this. Yeah. It's just fucking easier, right?
No, I think it's fucking racist. They're judging you because of the colors of your skin.
Oh man, we have the thing. I'm not sure what we touched on so far. As far as the, we can't even go into the casino here in Melbourne. I can't. Strip clubs were the first one, and then casino is now out of the thing. In Queensland and Adelaide, you can't go into some restaurants and bars if you got visible tattoos. And yeah, it's
there's places in Texas that are like that. Places in
you got the
Austin
same.
on the River
Yeah,
Rock.
yeah. Austin's
but
not a place I would think that there's like fucking tattoo shops everywhere.
neither did I. I never thought that at all. But one of the other places and one of the other things that, like, there's a bunch of places that won't allow any, visible tattoos and stuff like that over here in the States. But the entire time that I was in the UK, I was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like, London was perfectly cool. I mean, I saw Coca-Cola ads for with tattoos on them in London. Like a dude drinking a Coca-Cola and a big old tattoo on his head. And I'm like, that shit would never fly here in the fucking States.
Fuck, man. Even to be like now, I think about it. Like I lived in London from 2005 to 2008 or something like that. And there was even advertisements back then that with like I remember being on the tube and there was fucking dudes with face tats and neck tats and all that. I remember, fuck, anyone can model now, man. It's awesome. Have you seen the new I'm not sure who it is. I think it's Gucci, the new Gucci model, and he's got like those big ass fucking bold face tats. They're like not the best, but.
No, I have not seen this.
A thumb up at least for having some balls to do that shit. Yeah, he's like, it's the new face. I'm gonna say Gucci, but I'm not sure because I don't really care about half that fucking shit. But it's definitely bringing face tattoos out into the different market, upscale market.
Some high end brand.
Yeah, and it's like these people that are wearing full drug dealer and fucking like $1,000 shit and just having like, crap face tats, but it's pretty funny. Fuck it, why not? I'm for any face tattoo, really.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, we have the debate in the shop all the time. Everyone's like, "Do I get a face tattoo?" And then my voice is in the background. Fucking do it.
Oh man.
Yeah, whatever. That's each to their own. Each to their own.
So you got this. You got your
I got Instagram up.
Instagram?
So let's what's his page?
His page is Ken with 3 N's.
Ken with 3 N's. I like that.
Wall, WALL.
Sweet.
Shout out to Ken. You're a fucking cool cat.
All right, I got.
I'm not seeing your screen share over here.
Yeah, I was doing the same as you. I was getting it ready before I do that.
Oh, well done, sir. Well done.
We got to get a little better at this, huh?
Eventually, we'll figure this shit out.
All right, it's coming.
Although that microphone you got over there sounded nice.
There we go. You seen it? Mr. Ken Wall. There we go. There are some crazy extracts. Solventless. I'd see my friend down here, the Cron Master, is another little shout out. He's down with all this stuff, and man, he's making some pretty killer shit. But this is looking ridiculous.
It's like sand, right?
Look at the green sand. Look at. I'm just. You tell people you're gonna smoke that, and you're just a stoner. They're like, "Are you fucking sure?"
It looks like drugs, right? It looks like real drugs.
It's not just
real drugs. No, but like all of this stuff. And so what he does is he'll only take full trike heads, and then he rosin presses everything else. So everything he makes is fucking full melt. So everything else that comes off that didn't drop trikes, he then presses and makes into rosin. So like, if it didn't look like this sand, if it was a slightly discolored type of water hash, he would just press it into rosin. He said he wants to go to Australia, find the growers there, and shoot a video and make a bunch of fucking bubble hash in Australia.
Yeah, well, that man should definitely do that shit.
Well, I think
for anyone that's out there and has no idea what the fuck we're talking about, these are the dabs that we talk about and stuff. This is just stripping down all that awesome THC and CBD off marijuana and getting rid of the plant, basically, because as far as anyone knows, the plant's the only bad part about smoking this shit. So They've
Yeah,
kind of got rid of that.
we just happen to be fucking nerdy connoisseurs for this because, like, I assume there's not that many people who dab. I mean, out in Australia, as there are here, not in Denver, of course. Here, it's like overrun.
Yeah.
But like, even in small parts of the country, there's still a lot of people who are hip to smoking hash. But you guys, you were saying on the last podcast that people have been running butane out there and all kinds of shit like that for years, or doing where they make water hash
just
too.
in different ways. Yeah, exactly right. But this dab game is a new game to everyone. Like most people, if they're getting it or making it themselves, it's a very new thing for us. Like especially all the rigs and all the, it's just leaps and bounds and how fast it's happened.
Well, I remember getting hash for the first time in 2005.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever got like a brick of like black hash. It's, I smoked that, and it was like it would smoke almost like one of those little cone incense things. And then the first time I ever got anything that was close to like oil, it was like this black, very liquid oil. And we would like put buds on it and then do knife hits with like butter knives and stupid shit like that.
Spots we used to call that.
Yeah,
2 hot knives and then half a Coke
just
bottle and
smash
away you go.
Well, see, we were doing it so much. We took a 2-liter bottle and like poked holes in the bottom and like kind of pushed it up and filled it full of ice and always kept it in the freezer so that we could just do knife hits and breathe all that fucking smoke through that cold air because that's just hot. You fucking oh my god, you want to fucking burn up your throat like
exactly.
Any real stoner they have burned the fuck out of their throat on a one good one or a cash bowl or
a fucking can with holes poked in it
and you're just like done for like an hour and a half. You can't even concentrate because your throat hurts so much.
Exactly right.
But I want to smoke some of Ken's hash. So Ken, I'm giving you your shout out, you fucker. Come on the show.
When you come down to Australia, come meet the Cron Master. You guys will have some fun together.
See, we already got the hookup, Ken. So now that we're gonna make a trip, because I told him I was like, let's just go to Australia. I gotta shoot a podcast there, do a special there. It'd be kind of nice to smoke a lot of fucking pure melt bubble hash. So let's do that.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So let's see. Now that we've segued off topic and we're about to smoke some more, let me look at what our we touched on actually the next point that I was gonna that you had sent me. You're very organized with your bullets. It's very nice.
It's something that's new to me. Like I'm generally organized in my head, and then I get fucking life on top of me, and then it's gone. But technology, as much as I hate it, is helping me now. I used to write things on paper and lose the paper. Now I have an iPad, and I don't fucking lose that as often.
True story. True story.
It's good. It's good. And I think I'm getting older.
I think we had touched on this. I think there's a little bit more space to go deeper into it, but we were talking about like the musical influences and art. Like you had mentioned that you like to get, when you are going to get loose or you're going to do something, maybe a little bit more attuned to your style, you get into maybe a little bit more Tool or something that's a more melodic or, something. I think that's a key point in like how people set up rituals for whatever art they get into. Because you talked about having a ritual of being able to do a podcast, but as soon as you get into actually tattooing, you got to switch to music. So the setup process, you can do that. Like for me, a lot just painting. When I'm oil painting, I listen to this band called the Vitamin String Quartet, and they do covers of all these metal bands, but it's symphonic. It's like an orchestra. It's like a symphony. And they do Tool, and they do fucking A Perfect Circle. And
I think I know the one, like the they did the whole album of one of Tool's, right?
Yeah, they've done like 3 albums of Tools and the last A Perfect Circle, and it's so fucking good for getting into those weird spaces to where you don't want any words to kind of get in the way, but you're at least familiar enough with the song that you're not paying attention to it in a way to where you're like trying to learn the song because you've already heard these melodies. It's exactly really interesting.
It's that really state of not paying attention, right? That was the
that unfocused attention.
Yeah, it's hypnotic. I think when you get to that point of so much enjoyment, or yeah, you're really finding the zone, I guess. And that's what the artist is trying to do so much to get that song out, is find this zone and find this sound and find this feeling. And yeah, you
I
can
definitely
really
think that's where my
transport.
drug addiction came from, like
Yeah.
with harder drugs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like definitely trying to find the zone or combat the stresses it took to find the zone or whatever it was. It was
Or
an
just take you
excuse.
away, huh?
Yeah, as an excuse always, but you know, a little bit of escapism for sure.
Exactly.
But you know, it's one of those things too where music has that kind of power in a way that I think a lot of other stimuli don't. There's something there. Like I was talking to a client not too long ago about like getting the chills, like people getting the chills
I love
when
that
you
shit.
listen. Yeah, when you listen to music or you listen to somebody sing and they're fucking
Yeah, that's what I love.
amazing.
When you hear someone sing that you've never heard or seen before.
Oh
And
man, there's a
oh, and
there's a
then literally
girl.
down your spine, you're like, oh, holy shit. You're like, that is powerful.
We may have to watch this one because we wouldn't be able to pay for the rights, but you may have to watch this one off camera one of these days. And it's this girl Sarah Akuma, and she did Britain's Got Talent, and she
Uh-huh.
sings this Broadway song from Dreamgirls, like this soulful, and it is like one of the most amazing singing performances I've ever seen. And she's 15 fucking years old,
Yeah.
and I literally I got chills.
Just
And then
raise the hairs on the back of your neck, huh?
yeah, I was talking to this client about this, and she goes, "Did you know that there are some people who can't get the chills
Ooh.
like that?" And I was like, automatically, I was like, "Oh, I don't think I would trust those people."
Like, no, they're not for me. I'm
Because
sorry.
like they're lizard people.
Is it
But,
because they can't appreciate music, or has it just got something to do with the chills?
no, it's a genetic thing. Apparently, it has something to do with the gene. They have a gene that doesn't. That I don't know. I'm dumb.
As a, yeah, what you mean?
I
Like,
didn't do
like
my
they
research.
can't get the goosebumps. Like, imagine that shit. But
Yeah,
I don't know. That shit doesn't really do that much for us anymore. Getting the old like little hairs up to
the heckles raised.
yeah, exactly. It's just obsolete. We have clothes. Hence why only half of us are hairy gorillas and the other half's not. What are you trying to
I
spark
believe
up?
that. I don't know. This fucking lighter's a piece of shit. Piece of shit. I'm so sorry for the clicky clicky. I'm just not gonna use this archaic torch and
Anyway,
my cool fucking ray gun. I'm
nah,
just
it's
gonna
alright.
smoke out of this electric dab rig because it's quiet.
Nah, you can do it all. No one cares. It fills that
No,
silence.
it just click, click, click. It started driving me crazy. I gotta be careful with this one. This one's kind of scary. I got this one. I may have left it in my pocket and it kind of melted.
Ooh.
But it's Golden Ticket OG, and this shit is fucking, man. Earlier today, I put my dick in the dirt, but I could have just been tired from earlier. I mean, I just fucking like, oh my god, I'm so high. I gotta eat something to come down.
Yep.
But yeah, I had also spent the morning in the sun, outdoors and shit.
Outdoors, mate. You're
Yeah,
out in that summer heat. It's fucking freezing cold here now. The winter has set in. It was kind of like too cold to rain for a little bit, but now we got both again.
yeah. I realized that when you got back, and I was like, man, this little fucking, he's always bundled up. Why is he so? And then I was like, oh yeah, that's right. The fucking, it's winter down there. It's
Fucking
stupid.
pissing down, mate.
It's fucking crazy.
Absolutely.
It's so weird. It's such a strange thing. Like something as simple as that, because you know we're so centralized on this side of the planet that I don't even fucking think about that. I didn't really think about that until I had an Australian friend named Sam.
Yep. Yeah. The more I travel, the more I think about it. I'm like, holy crap, there's just like a whole nother weather system over here. And then getting down to why it happens, I was trying to explain that to someone last week. How the sun stays up in the northern hemisphere longer and the southern hemisphere longer, and that's how we get winter and what do you guys call it? Fall.
Yeah.
Autumn.
Autumn flies here as well.
Yeah, you get a bit of both. TV wise, I've always heard fall, but yeah, we're autumn over this way, and but yeah, interesting concept how the world works, right? All right, how the world works. I guess that could go into our next little one. Touched on the music and now the religion, spirituality, and tattoos. I don't know. I don't
Oh
really
man, I was
know
excited to get
why
into
that
this one.
popped into my head this week, but I figured that was a cool little one to add into the mix.
Yeah, I was excited about this one. I was excited.
Because my week consisted of something Spartan as a heritage thing and something Viking out of a pure interest in history and the idea of the spiritual side of that. And then what else did I do? Some mandala stuff. So that had its own spiritual side to it. So I just like, whether people think about it or not, tattoos have a spiritual side to them and some obviously don't, but then it's a big open one. And then I went from spiritual to that to religion. Obviously it kind of all ties in together. So yes, it's a cool one.
I mean, I find that even me developing in my own faith and finding what the fuck I believe in affects the way I approach art, but also, kind of trying to meet those challenges. I've always been infatuated with theology, regardless of what it is, because there's so much good descriptive imagery. There's a lot of fucked up shit, of course, but there's a lot of beautiful shit. And we have the papal state and a bunch of, really religious folks for some of the greatest pieces of artwork in the world.
It's something that confuses people, right? The people that painted those amazing Catholic and Christian and whatever religion. Yeah, exactly right. We're all
they're atheists.
People of the faith.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think it's hard to fall into that type of belief structure when, as an artisan, you're building your own belief structure. We build rules for ourselves, boundaries, and things that we do when we approach our craft that become our religion. That's the whole point of, like, that's how serious you have to be about this shit. That's why I tell people, just like, you can't have a day job and try to tattoo, or you can't have like same thing if you're going to try to take something, anything else seriously.
Yeah, it's all or nothing, huh?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, I think if you're going to get to a certain level where you're in a space to be influential, and make something of yourself, I guess. But that's all that's still all semantics.
Absolutely.
Who am I to say what you make of yourself?
Yeah, well, each to their own. Again, people can do whatever the fuck they want, right? But can they? That's like an interesting one with this religion too, is like, if someone has a faith or a certain ideal of how they live, it doesn't necessarily have to be like one of the Abrahamic faiths like we talked about last time, and Judaism or Christianity or Catholicism or Islam, but even other ideals like Buddhism and Sikhism and stuff like that, there's still ideas within those communities that have been handed down, whether people can get tattooed or not. So like, I'm sure you've come across that.
Well, I think that falls into multiple places. I mean, for instance, I tattooed a huge full front chest piece outline, like a big Japanese style, this big Japanese style fox geisha witch thing, but taken out of a Japanese yokai ghost story, and very very traditionally researched and whatnot. And I put it on my cousin. My cousin's way more Japanese than I am. Like both his mom's half Japanese and his dad's full Japanese. And so he's got grandparents on both sides with these very strict views. And for him to take this step, he kind of felt it was the right time, even though there's a huge pushback from old Japanese, thought, especially because, they have an organized crime thing. They have a lot of stuff, a lot of hangups, just like every culture does about tattoos. And for him to do that, he knows he's going to have to go through some personal battles with explaining and talking to his family. I mean, that's just part of the fucking deal.
It is, right?
Well, that's why like people talk about that shit, and I'm like, well, yeah, that's the point. Is you're doing shit because you want to do it. You're not doing it because
I think it's the same as everything in life. You've got to like piss a few people off, or you've got to break a couple of eggs to make an omelet. You just got to take some of those risks sometimes, right? Easier to ask for forgiveness than than to ask for permission. So,
Yeah. I
I mean, I had to
think
do the same thing with my grandparents. Like they're like Catholic, so it's not necessarily like the worst thing to get tattooed as a Catholic or as a Christian. But they certainly didn't like it because you're marking your body, and you know they created that in some way, and you know you got to explain to them what it is. And I have a few on me that I've had to make up some bullshit of what they are just to keep Nana
just to
happy.
appease.
Exactly.
Well, and I know, you know, for on the flip side of that, like that, my upbringing and where and how I grew up influenced the fact of that I wanted to tattoo, or the type of imagery that I wanted to tattoo. Um, just like I think I've met a lot of other tattooers who may not come from anywhere near a similar background as me, but they also find that their religious background or their intercultural or their family cultural is pushed into their work. Like I love doing Japanese and Buddhist tattoos. Like I love it because you know, not only am I familiar with the imagery, but it reminds me of my family right away because my grandmother's still a practicing Buddhist to this day. And it's like meeting a lot of, you know, my Hispanic homeboys, their grandma practices. They don't really go to church very much, but they're sitting over there and they're doing like the dopest fucking Virgin Mary fucking statuesque portraits, and they're doing praying hands. And
I think I met a few of them.
Yeah, they will follow you. I think that faith can be expressed in different ways, and it's not. I can't subscribe to that shit. I just really can't. I mean, I can enjoy. It's like the best place to be. Like I can enjoy all of these mythologies.
Yep.
I can go all the way back to the Greeks and tattoo fucking Poseidon and all kinds of fucked up shit. And I can go all the way up. I don't know if Scientology has tattoos. I've never done one, but I will.
Let me do one. I want to do one.
I just want to talk to you.
Yeah, both. I'll give you a discount if you come and tell me some secrets, and I'll get to tattoo some Scientology shit on you. Let me do it.
If you can bring your e-meter, you can take my thetan level. I'm so down.
Yeah,
I'm so down for this.
Maybe we need to hook this up together. I know there's a big old Church of Scientology in Melbourne, and when you come down, we'll try to hook that shit up. It'd be hilarious.
It's like, look, we just want to have our thetans checked out, and we want to talk to you, and we have a podcast, and we feel like there's been some negativity shed on your institution, so maybe we could actually help you guys to see exactly what goes on here.
I think we're ready to meet Zoltan, huh?
Just right at the end, just
Zoltan.
Did I do that right? Is that
I
right?
don't even know. I was it might be mirrored for me, so it might have looked like we did it right, but it might be wrong.
I'd just be asking them. Is that something you guys do, Zoltan? Scientology people?
Man, I've never really met one like face to face. I don't think.
The honest people that I've met, I mean, you know, as far as religious, like as far as not honest, like as them being weird, but maybe a unique subset, is I've met some people from I believe it's called the Watchtower Society.
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
They're a sect of Jehovah's Witnesses who believe that everybody who got in heaven is already in heaven.
Oh yeah, I have heard of that. Yeah. That's a very interesting one, huh?
And that's it. Like I'm like, but why? What the fuck is up with that shit? Why?
Just why?
What are you doing then? What is the whole point of your religion now?
Just to tell everybody else they fucked up. We're here to let you all know you didn't get in. You fucked up. Good luck next time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, fuck, man. I still get, like, back on topic. I still get people that are like 40 that are like worried what their mom says about getting a tattoo. They have to like go explain it, or you know, they get a tattoo that they don't really want, but it's kind of like religious imagery, so it makes it okay for them to go and tell mom, oh mom, I fucked up and I got a tattoo, I hope you don't belt the shit out of me. Or yeah, I don't know, do you still get that?
I mean, I get people who are still concerned. I get people who instead of it being like their mom, it's always like spousal approval.
Oh yeah,
they're searching for.
Oh,
I fucking hate that shit. The boyfriend or the spouse.
Yeah. Or the spouse that sits there and tells you what their husband wants, and you're like, all right, have a seat. Shh. And we'll work out what he wants, right?
Yeah. Don't bring your significant other to your consultation, please.
No, if you're definitely listening to this to get some ideas of how we like to work, that doesn't work.
Please.
No. Get the
I also
tattoo for
don't.
you.
I
That's
also
why you're
don't
doing it.
smoke this much wax when I'm tattooing.
No, hell no.
It's my birthday.
It's
Fuck
his
you.
birthday. I wish we could share this, but we'll pretend it's happening.
Well, I mean, eventually, and time has as time goes on,
So
and
everyone else on the interwebs, we're in the same room, but
the
we are halfway across the world.
yeah, and the many moons that have come and gone. I mean, time is going by fucking fast. So
Oh yeah.
I'll be in Australia or somewhere else in the world whenever you are at some point, and I've kind of figured out how to make this podcast station move
Yep.
pretty easy.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be fun.
OBEs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty crazy.
Hell yeah. What was next on our little list of things?
Let me see here. What we got here?
Ooh, what tattoos someone can get because of their faith? I think.
Ooh. Well, I mean, that's an interesting one. This may be the most well-known one, but like,
You kind of touched it a little bit then on the Japanese tattoos.
yeah, the Japanese tattooing, like that is so, like onsen is like the public bathhouse, and then they have private onsen. But if you have tattoos and you're heavily tattooed, you have to go to a private onsen, or you can't fucking hang out there. Steam rooms, same thing. Saunas.
Yeah, I've not been to Japan yet.
Yeah, they don't like fucking tattoos because it reminds them of Yakuza. So everybody knows that. But I think, all the way back up to tattooers, like Lyle Tuttle fucking, from the bread and butter of tattooing is like, hey, don't get your fucking hands and neck tattooed. That was one of his biggest things. He's like, you never get your fucking hands and neck tattooed. What are you doing? You're an idiot. You can't wear a suit. I can wear a suit and nobody knows what I fucking do.
Yeah, that's what translated into like early Australian tattooing culture.
I think that was just that time.
Yeah, true.
That time of culture. Like, I think that's really, and I think that there's healthy thoughts in there. I'm an anti-establishmentarian.
Yeah, same. And I think also that we're very young in the industry compared to some others. So our ideals aren't really the same as some of the old ones, correct? Like,
very true, sir.
Fuck, man, I got my throat tattooed at like 21, I think.
Yeah, I was dumb. And like I was crazy. So that's a good story. I was crazy in the pills. And you want to talk about music saving your life?
Mm-hmm.
Getting a tattoo. So I got the whole underside of my throat done. I got
covered by beard these days.
Yeah. So it goes all the way under my chin. It's these wings and this big fucking Fabergé egg thing in the middle of my throat. And on that day, I knew it was gonna hurt so bad because I had the side of my neck done, and I had the outline done, so I knew today was gonna suck because it's some solid color, all kinds of fucking black and gray shades. So I was like, okay. So I was like, I bought a bottle of Scotch whiskey. I fucking drank a shitload of Scotch whiskey out of a coffee cup, which is a bad way to do it because you can't really tell how much liquor you're drinking.
Nope.
And I took a bunch. I took like 3 Flexeril and like a quarter of a Xanax, and I almost fucking Heath Ledgered while getting my neck done. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like snoring to the point to where the fucking power went out at the shop. Somebody fucking had hit a telephone pole. There was an accident. They shut the power off, and it went off for maybe like 30 minutes. I didn't even know.
Fucking hell.
Fucking crazy. Fucking crazy. But that entire time, me getting into that zone right before I started fucking passing out, I was listening to fucking Tool just blaring on my fucking little earbud beats.
Oh, man. If you haven't listened to Tool, do yourself a favor and go listen to that shit. Yeah.
Maynard's a genius. He was just on Joe Rogan's podcast. Go fucking listen to that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't get to see the whole thing. I'm still only. It's one of the ones I started at the start of work, and then I changed the music halfway through, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta finish that."
I gotta do something that's important. We can go on to the next subject, but I gotta look up something on my phone. I gotta
go for it, bro,
because it's important. I was wanting to remember to do this before because I was like, hey, I gotta do this because we gotta give our shout outs to the peeps.
Oh,
Where are these people?
I can't remember who sent mine in, and it's on my phone. Maybe I can find it on my social medias at the same time.
Yo, we got to give a shout out to the Trump tattoo. Can we give a shout out to the fucking Trump tattoo?
That's the one, yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, it's in the Instagram.
It's not on the tattooed mine one though, is it? I think it was on mine.
No, it's on your personal.
All right, let's go find that.
But what I would like to do
What do you got?
is I would like to thank all of the people who fucking have been listening, who watch the Tattooed Mind. We have
Yes, thank you.
for a fucking okay. Oh my God, it just happened. So for a 2-hour and 50-minute video, for 100 of you people to fucking watch this motherfucker.
Oh, we hit
That's
the 100.
awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, we got 100 people.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
We hope it was kind of interesting. I don't even remember what the fuck we talked about, and I didn't listen to the whole thing again.
Me neither. Me neither. I tried to count all the dabs, and then I lost count.
Yeah.
111 views. 111 views. And to the 21 subscribers. To
1111. Same numbers. That's a good number.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
To the 21 subscribers, we'll give you shout outs properly eventually. But that's fucking awesome. Thank you.
So I sent the Trump tattoo to you, didn't I? That's going to be the easiest way to find this.
Yeah, you should pull it up. I got to figure out why I'm not getting the share on this side. But yeah, this thing.
It's coming. I wish I remember who sent it to me first. There we go. Oh, the name's not even saved on there, so it's not going to be the nicest of shout outs. No, it is there. Tattoos by Cam. There we go. All right, so I just got to find the share screen again.
I just got to find this shit.
If you're on audio and you're not watching what we're doing, there's probably a lot of airtime, but you can't listen to just the audio yet because I haven't done that yet. That was harder than loading onto fucking YouTube. YouTube took 18 hours to load one of these videos. I had to learn how to compress some shit, and dear, I'm learning. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think when we hey, if you guys know any better than this, tell us.
Yeah,
yes.
Let us know. We're down for any input. And hence, this is some input that we got. So, here's Mr. Trump done. I'm not sure who done it, or whether it's on this Tattoos by Cam, or whether I'm pretty sure he got this tattoo. So there you go. Well done. There's your little shout out for sending that in after us talking about Trump last time.
Yeah, welcome.
That's
awesome. That's awesome. You're welcome. I get it.
Oh yeah, it has to be lit. I can't remember what I'm smoking. Oh, this is the Leopard Jack. It's quite leathery.
I might have to run off screen real quick and go fucking grab the weed tray.
Go for it, bro.
Give me a second. I want to figure out why I'm not getting your share screen. I want to see what you're trying to show all the peeps.
Oh, you can't even see it?
No, I can't see it on this side at all.
I thought you just meant that you couldn't put your share screen up. No wonder you haven't been enjoying all the pictures I've been putting up. Well, hopefully it records with it.
Who knows?
Yeah,
it's not, who knows?
Well, David saw the Trump tattoo before now, so he at least knows what we're talking about. But
yeah, backside information. If
you have any more hilarious tattoos, send them in, because if they're good, we'll put them up. If they're shit, they can stay on those shitty web pages. Everyone has shit tattoos. We're getting someone at the shop soon to deal with all those shitty tattoos and getting the old laser man to come in and do some shit soon. Mm-hmm. Do you have laser tattoo removal in many shops over there? Is that a tattoo shop thing in America?
No, it's well, it just depends on what state you're in. See, so we're fucking stupid and convoluted to where each state sets its own laws for something as serious as tattoo removal. So you've got people who don't have to get a crazy license, who are able to mount this stuff in the back of a truck or like a box van and then just do mobile tattoo removal. In Texas, you have to have a licensed physician. Not administer. You can have a trained technician. So
like a full GP, a doctor.
Yeah. Like, let's say I wanted to buy a laser. I could go buy the laser, but for me to actually use it legally, there has to be a physician, because that's a prescription only procedure.
Wow.
So they would have to be there to write that prescription.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how Australia's laws came about with most of that, but we're pretty much a nation. I think it's national laws across that. And whoever brought the laser clinics into Australia first tied it up pretty well that you now have to like go through and do a course with them, and then you're certified basically. So
That's pretty smart.
yeah, we can do it wherever. Basically they go in and teach them everything they need to know, and then teach them what machines are going to do what, and you're basically taught not to buy cheap machines. And these people are doing pretty well, but because I don't think there's many like proper qualifications, I'm pretty sure there's a fair few cowboys that just buy stuff off eBay and burn people up pretty bad. So
Yeah,
if you're out there
absolutely.
and you want some laser removal, don't go to someone with a cheap machine. Spend the money, do that shit properly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like getting tattooed, you're going to get them to burn it off, or you're going to get the best one to do it, right? Best
Well, and
machine.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, you got people who you can talk to who tell you how painful this is. Why put yourself in a position to get the same amount of pain for shittier work just because you don't want to spend the money? Because you'll get a better removal from a better trained professional, somebody with a better reputation,
Yeah,
and that means less sessions.
exactly.
It can be less money in the end. If you have to have 15 fucking sessions because you got somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
And less sessions is less scarring. So if you want to go over that stuff
Yeah.
again, that makes our job easier, and you can get, a lot more. You got a lot more options with what you get, not just something big and black. As much as I love covering shit with big and black shit, don't worry. But
yeah,
yeah,
they'll eventually develop, completely opaque ink.
That could happen.
It might happen.
I've seen people cover black with yellow. Fuck, man, it's just how you
true.
do it.
Very, very, very true.
Yeah, it wasn't me, but I've seen some pretty fucking rad cover-ups over the years. I wish I had compiled each one that I've seen in a visual memory. But maybe we could do that as a bit of a show. Some of the craziest cover-ups that have been out there. People send them in. If you've got some fucking amazing cover-ups, send them in and we'll compile what we can. That could be cool as fuck.
Yeah, please, good proof. Good proof.
Oh yeah, we don't know if I've seen. I'm pretty good at finding the Photoshop shit out there, huh? I got one dude at work, Andrew at work, man. He comes to me with a photo like once a week, and he's like, "What do you reckon?" And you like zoom in, you see the old like the shading off someone's fucking finger or off an arm into the background. And you're like, "Oh, that motherfucker has photoshopped some airbrush shit over the top."
Oh man,
don't be ashamed if you can't tattoo that good. It's okay, you get better. Don't blag people. Keep it raw. A little filtering on there is all right, but don't go Photoshop your shit.
I mean, if you can Photoshop your shit good enough to where you might trick 70% of the people, why don't you just get on YouTube and teach people how to use fucking Photoshop? Because that'd be awesome. And then I mean, maybe you could learn something how to tattoo.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, or just go back to graphic design.
Yeah, there's a market for that shit.
Yeah. Ah, dear. I've lost my list now. I'm just staring here at Donald Trump on my iPad. Let's go back. Well, we did the religion stuff before. I don't really like to keep going back to that shit. So
yeah, it goes in circles. It's not necessary.
No. What else you got on there? What are you looking at?
What was the first? So the religion, the spiritual release from childhood. We already did that one.
Ooh, what makes a tattooist?
Yeah, what makes a tattooist? So
can we generalize? I think you can generalize a little bit of what a tattooist like, but in my shop of 14, they're all pretty individual, right?
Yeah, I couldn't think of more snowflake-like creatures than tattooers.
Yeah,
because
everyone evolves and cracks out in its own little way, huh? It cracks out in its own little way. That's also appropriate.
The whole thing about being a tattooer is eventually you make it to the point to where you want nobody to be like you. Like that's the whole point.
Being as individual. I guess that's what like tattooing brings on anyway, is being individual. So
right.
To be a tattoo artist, you have to set yourself apart a little bit more, huh?
Yeah. You're always gonna be a subset of something. But you want to be a standout. That's the whole point. I think a lot of times, at least that's what a lot of people get focused on. And I think, you know, because we curate the tattoo world so intensely as tattooers, there's a lot less bullshit amongst who actually gets respected as far as, hey, this is a good tattoo and this is why this person deserves this accolade or this kind of
I think
sainthood that some tattooers kind of achieve in their
I think
experience.
a lot of artists forget that that's what they put out there is what dictates how people see the art, and it doesn't matter if you don't have 100,000 followers on Instagram or whatever the fuck it is. It's like what you put out there is what people see as tattooing. So
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if the followers don't see it or some shit. Your world sees that, and the people that are going to come get tattooed off you, they see that. So
it's a good point because it kind of comes back to that philosophy, that thing that kind of goes along with The Secret, but it is like, and it's proof positive in social media. And I think it first started off in the portfolios, but what you put out there is what ends up coming back to you. You create this audience. So, for people who want to develop a style or say they want to have a certain level of uniqueness, well, develop something. I think style a lot of times can be boiled down to making enough mistakes to decide which ones to keep.
That's a very clever way to look at it.
Yeah, I think you have to try a lot. You have to do a lot of shit and fuck up a lot for a long time, and then eventually you go, hey, okay, but I like the way that fuck up kind of looks. Like, it took me a long time to learn that sculpted lines that aren't perfectly crisp, lines that follow a contour that have texture to them are so much more interesting than perfectly shaped, nice, smooth lines.
Yeah, in the instances where you need that, obviously.
Where you need that,
there's room for everything. But
right,
exactly right. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Just getting some text.
Falling out.
Yeah,
you're so popular. You're blowing up. I gotta take this dab. I was gonna go roll a joint, but then I was like, I got all these dabs. I gotta smoke this stuff.
Shout out to my boy Tim Tavaria. Tim was my apprentice, and if you like your neo trad, man can neo trad like a motherfucker. And he's killing it. He's just texting me, God knows what about. But what's up, bro? You dabba doing? I believe.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm hot. I'm heating this thing up. It's pretty clever, man. This thing gets pretty. I don't know if you can see it, man.
Yeah. She's smoking. She red hot.
Yeah, it gets red hot. It's pretty impressive. That was pretty incredible.
Oh, I know what he's doing. He's winning money somewhere. Oh, gambling man. Well, keep with it, Tip. What up? So, back to what makes a tattooist. A neo-trad tattooist. There's a bit more style to a neo-trad tattooist, right? We have.
Oh, I like this. I want to go down this little rabbit hole.
Go
I
on.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No.
Neo-trad style.
Run that rabbit hole.
So I got a homie.
Yeah, go.
I got a homie who. Excuse me, monster dabs over here.
Yeah. I am.
I try to keep that shit to myself, the coughing. I try to make fun of people who cough, even though I know it's terrible. It's really hard not to cough with dabs, but
it is.
Keep it down. Anyway, I got a homie who had so much style skateboarding when we were kids, right?
Uh-huh.
So much style. He just naturally, he would hot, hit a 5-stair and he would bend his knees so deep that his hands would almost touch the floor. Just automatically, just very smooth.
That rat
Jerome
shit.
Bettis, just very, just smooth. And I've met people who remind me of his personality who tattoo, and their fucking tattooing is exactly the same. It's just that smooth, very just relaxed kind of.
You watch them tattoo out there; they're doing that same shit, and you're like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah. Style is a thing. Like real style, like who you are, how you conduct yourself.
It's a
that's
vibe.
something.
Huh? It's a way of living.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a vibration you live in. Like I'm a fucking talker. I'm a comedian. I'm a schmoozer. I'm not the
Your
cool guy who's like,
style, huh? That's your
yeah,
style.
that's my style. I'm a Jew. I'm trying to sell you something. What do you want? I want to give you a couple things, you know? You give me some shekels, I give you something. You know, that's my fucking game, man.
It's a good game. It's a good game. Man, I'm just that loud Australian that talks to too many people and doesn't know when to shut the fuck up sometimes. So.
Fucking Bogans. That's not
Bogans,
you.
mate.
That's not fucking you. That's not you, though.
No, I'm partly Bogan. Don't worry. I'm not all the way there. I grew up in some Bogan areas and I got some fair Bogan mates and I love that shit. You know,
Well,
there's nothing
speaking of-
wrong with not being opulent.
well, it's crazy. So, you know, I went out this morning and I played some golf with my buddy Mike, who I'm staying with out here.
Mhm.
He likes to play golf, and I played golf all through when I was a little kid. My dad played a lot of golf, and I really enjoy it. So we went out there, smoked a lot of weed, and played golf. Just walked this golf course. It was a beautiful morning. But on the drive up there, he's telling me about this rural area where there's these kind of fucked up people, and he's like, "Look, you need to look up this place." I'll ask him the name, but it's something like Flat Rock or something like that, and it's a fucking plutonium. It was a plutonium stockpile location until the 1990s,
Yep.
and there's tons of cancer all around it. All these statistics of all these people who live there, and we're
Holy
just like right
shit.
outside there playing golf. He's like, "So just don't drink any of the water or the
Yeah.
ice."
Try not
And
to
I was
breathe
like,
as much as normal.
"People fucking live here. This is crazy."
Fuck. I just seen
Yeah.
something on, I don't know, I think it was Twitter or Instagram or one of those ones about this like town in Russia that they had to evacuate recently because they've been digging for, what were they digging for? It's something that has to do with fertilizer. And anyway, they've dug the equivalent of like, I think it was 390,000 square kilometers worth of shit out under a town. And didn't really think of, maybe that town would collapse. And now it's happening. It's starting to collapse. They evacuated like 40,000. There's a fucking hole in the earth that it's just like, the middle layer that they've built on is caved through. And it's the equivalent of a 50-story building drop. And you could fit like, I can't remember how many fucking football fields, but it was retardedly big. It was,
Oh man.
yeah, very, very dumb ideas over there.
I don't know, man. There are some evil things in the world,
Mm-hmm.
but fucking, I think greed gets everybody at one point. You know, maybe as innocent as like not wanting to share your candy as a kid, all the way up to some crazy shit as we get older.
It
like-
comes back to karma a bit too, doesn't it?
Fuck, dude, but like that shit is crazy. Like, just sinkhole a whole town. Sinkholes in general are kind of terrifying, Sam.
They are,
Like,
but when you make them yourself, that's terrifying.
well, that's just dumb. It's just dumb. That's just, it's comical almost.
It is
almost. It's almost
if it
like
wasn't people living there that had to deal with it, then it would be 100% comical. But
if it was Nazis living there, it would be downright hilarious. If it was Nazis digging for shit under a Nazi town full of soldiers and it caved in and we heard about it, it would be the funniest fucking thing in the world.
Imagine
It's
if
all
that
about
how the
context.
war was won.
It just never started.
And that's how you do it.
It's
shit.
like, well, sorry for boiling all that suffering down to, but people gotta bring it down. Gotta bring the energy down for a minute. I gotta take it. It'll go back up in a moment.
Going back to the, what makes a tattooist, I've heard plenty of tattooists talking the same stuff, and most can get through shit pretty lightheartedly. And yeah, it's the tattooed brain, I guess, is the perfect example. This is our brains, but I've shared a collective of brains with a few people, and I guess I couldn't tell you what a tattooist is, but
I think tough is pretty good because it's fucking. You gotta at every point in this journey, I guess is the best way to put it. In every step, there is a tenacity that's necessary if you want to excel. you may lose pace with that, and you may feel flat and feel as though your work is going nowhere, and that this may be like a recharging period for you to really push again. But you're always going to have tenacity to build on your task. I think, those are the people who I see who are the most successful, and not only tattooing, but a lot of things. But I think you got to be tough. You got to be willing to fucking work in a way that most people don't know is work.
Yeah.
We draw, we fucking create. It's proven fact that you burn calories through thinking. They've put people in MRIs and PET scans. A PET scan measures the glucose uptake in certain areas of your body, and they do that in your brain. And when you're thinking or calculating or problem solving, your glucose uptake goes up in your brain. And when that happens, you're burning calories. You're creating more ATP for your synapses. I mean, it's fucking like, it's hard work. That's why when I get home from work, I am buzzing on thinking about breaking up this problem, and I come down and maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours later, especially if it's a really intense tattoo.
Exactly right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, that's cool. I've not heard that part of the study. I've heard that overthinking can be good, right? Overthink, people. Do it. My brain doesn't shut the fuck up. That's, Insamnia. I used to rock the Insomnia. I got it tattooed on my knuckles. That's, don't sleep. You get somewhere. I put a tweet up a while ago. It's like, whenever I'm not sleeping, I'm making money. That's because, you turn eventually what's something that can be fucking annoying and horrible and not sleeping into, fuck it, I may as well use this time. And it's going to get me somewhere and, be constructive. And I don't play video games and that sort of shit. That's a personal preference, really. For some people, it's awesome to unwind doing that shit. But, I'm always just like, fuck it, do something that's going to get me somewhere or going to get me something, and it's not all about monetary something. It's not like I need possessions and shit. I don't need money. It's like, get something from the experience. So, it is tough. And that you can burn out doing that shit, huh?
Yeah, I think there's a level of, like, you have to be certain. I think, at least for my relatability to you, you have to be manic to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because like we operate, if I didn't not sleep as much, I wouldn't be able to do this podcast, I don't think.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like this. Yeah.
So everyone listening out there, David's doing one now at like, what time would it be there for you now? Nearly 2 a.m.?
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. now.
It's 2 a.m.?
It's about 2 a.m. It's about 2 a.m.
And it's 6 p.m. here for me. So we'll eventually do some swap around ones where I'll be doing the 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. shifts and David will be doing the other one. So it's interesting how brains work at different stages of the day too, because I'm not really a sleeper. So, my brain works very differently towards the end of the day. And sometimes it overthinks, but then can be cluttered. And yeah, like you said, you have to sort of de-stress from the day. And, pot helps me in that way. But then even at this time of the day, depending on what I smoke, or it doesn't even matter. Just like this time of the day, my brain runs in a different way. I mean, like, work mode, physical work mode. So my brain's jumping between different tasks. I think it's more left brain on my days off when I'm trying to get shit done and like doing these podcasts, and then my right brain kicks in on a Tuesday when I got to get back to work, and then it's all crank that music back up and start all over again.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it, and so does like what I eat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if I eat a lot, by the end of the day, I feel kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Or if I eat a lot of shit, I feel kind of shitty. It also depends on how I've been smoking all day. If I smoke a shitload of cigarettes all day, like if I've been fucking hanging out, I feel like shit. If I smoke a lot of weed, it doesn't really bother me that much.
Yeah. I'm learning to eat more with work. Like a lot of the time I wouldn't eat until sort of like 5 p.m. or, later in the day. Cause I find if I have breakfast, it kicks in my stomach and then I'm like hungry and distracted for like second part of the day when I'm trying to really, focus in on. So as strange as it sounds to some people, like, I'm not a big eater. So I get past that first meal and then I'm sweet. My other brain's working and I'm like, all right, creative mode. And then by the time I start tattooing and I'm like on the path of getting that creative thing out to building something, and I think the other brain kicks in and then I'm like, boom, fucking hungry again. Now I'm learning to deal with that. Little breakfast, little lunch, and then dinner. I'm, learning to sleep better as well. But it's not gonna last because I do shit at night, and I need the nights, and I need all that shit to do what I do.
Yeah, I'd rather smoke weed than take fucking the drugs that
Well, yeah, I used to do
ADD
prescriptions.
people,
Yeah,
ADD people are supposed to take.
uh,
I'd rather smoke weed.
I used to go the other way. I'd take all the I love all the downers, so I'd sleeping pills and fucking Xanax and Valiums and all that sort of stuff because I'd be peaking so hard by the end of the night. You know, like all these ideas and tattooing, and especially in the first few years of tattooing, when you're like, you don't get that break. You're going home drawing tattoos, working out a week's worth, or the next day's fucking tattoo, and I don't do that shit much anymore. And now I have one client a day. And you get there and we work out the tattoo. If it's ongoing tattoo, it's easy. But if not, we're gonna spend those 2 hours, 3 hours. I don't give a shit. You spend however long you need to get the best result. And me being up till 4 a.m. Trying to deal with like a week's worth of tattoos, I don't really find that works the best for me. So
yeah. It's I don't know. It sounds familiar. This whole past week has been fucking crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, like gigantic tattoos or crazy fucking intricate tattoos that I did, all kinds of shit. And it's interesting because I was watching, there's maybe 4 or 5 other people here. Nobody else works very long.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 3-4 hour sessions. I'm
Do you find it because it's more of a local thing?
I don't know if it's more of a local thing. I think a lot of these guys are super traditional in the way they use it. There's not a rotary in the house. It's all coils.
Yep. Which is that, like, working your 3-4 hours is a more traditional way to tattoo, as far as like, in Australia, 80s, 90s, all that sort of stuff. You did small sessions on big things, and you come in every fortnight and get that done. I think that's changing as just a tattoo culture as well. The longer sessions, man. I get emails these days for like 3 days in a row and stuff. Like it's becoming common.
Well, and it is definitely because I'm foreign here. I'm not from Denver, so they're trying to get a decent amount of time. So I get that, and I get that they're trying to make sure that their schedule is set up properly. Maybe these people can only afford this much. I don't know what's going on. I just noticed that, and I also noticed I'm in the same time zone as Denver, so we're both mountain time, so they should be on the same number. They most of these people are well off in dreamland by now, man.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
They're a little bit more old school, I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that the rotary makes a difference, though, because people will sit longer. I don't know if it's placebo because it's not loud and it's not scary, because I think it fucking hurts just as much as everything fucking else.
They're pretty much the same, but that no noise definitely fucking helps. So
you're jabbing the shit out of people with needles still. I mean, it's like it packs color better than like my coils.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not like it's easier.
Yeah, when I think about it now, I was like, when I used to use coils more back in the day, I was nicer. Those needles weren't hanging out as much or anything like that. Now I'm like, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll just sneak them out of this rotary with a little click of my grip, and you don't even know.
Well, and that's interesting. Like, I adjust my needle depth quite a bit for like what I'm actually gonna do.
Yeah, for me, constantly, I've adapted that into my style of how I tattoo since those things became available. And the strange thing is, I know people that have used like fucking rotaries, some of those first rotary pens and like different ones that came out with the the click cartridge grip, and they don't use it, like, or people that like prefer disposable and never adjust their shit. And like today with cartridges, like not even every cartridge has the same needle bar length.
Depth,
so how can you fucking trust that shit? Like,
well, see, for me, it's like, I don't have any of the click cartridges. I was never a big fan of those. I actually use a disposable cartridge with a stem.
Oh, you do?
But the stem, I always bag all my machines. Like, you wrap all your machines really well.
Yeah.
I always bag all my machines, and I adjust the needle depth just because the quick release on the new Insamnia, the little twist grip at the bottom.
True.
I was like, well, that's just as much effort as it would be to twist the fucking click grip.
That's very true. So I just traditionally run that click grip. Like, they're a pain in the ass to clean, as everyone that uses them knows. But
that's my hang up.
Yeah, fair play. I like that. Like, well, that's been my major hang up since these rotaries came out. That why has no one come out with something that is just like I mean, I don't want to drop any names of any of that shit yet. Fucking, you know.
Yeah, we're not on that. That's got to be orchestrated. That's
If shit's gonna be like, you know, technologically advanced and up to date and all this, then so does cleanliness. And everyone's so worried about EO gas and like tubes back in the day, and now cartridges. But if you know the cartridge needle might be clean, but if your grip ain't
Yeah.
clean, then that don't mean shit. So it's something
Yeah.
people need to be mindful of. And I'm sure the industry knows all this kind of shit, and it'll get there. I mean, it's probably the next race for who's gonna make some fucking money out of the rotary tattoo world. Yeah.
Well, there's disposable click tubes.
Yeah, I did see them. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how they work.
I'm gonna have
I don't know.
I'm gonna give them a try. I give everything a try. I hear about shit, and it's like it's how I, you know, it's my start. I started with a tattoo supplier, so I remember I was like a kid in a tattoo shop, you know, fucking when I was working there. I'd see everything new that comes in, and I had my pick of all the needles off the shelves, and you know, I love that shit. So that'll never leave me. I've always got a collection, and I always like trying stuff. I think I think you have to. I think, you know, it's not like each one's gonna be magic. It's just, you know, you're learning your craft, you're learning how things work by trying different things and looking at them and working out how they work, using them, right?
Yeah. I mean, how can you not? It's so exciting. I mean, for me, it's one of the more exciting parts about being a geek about like what the gear is, because I'm like, oh, look at that. Like, I wonder what that does.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, hey, that's kind of like a paint. Like, I always look at it as like paintbrushes.
Yeah, same. I think, you know, like going back to what makes a tattooist, you know, some people are mechanics and tattoos. You know, some tattooists go home and they build a car, and some of them go home and they paint like us. And you know, there's because there is no one tattooist. There's so many walks of life that have come into this game from something else and have hobbies in different things. It's quite cool, huh?
Yeah, because there's no one right way to tattoo.
Yeah.
There's not one right way.
No, but most of us are all out tattoo geeks. So, you know, there's not many people I don't know that don't get excited seeing some new machine or some shiny just being custom built for someone. I still get fucking excited seeing some brand new coil that's been built for someone in the shop. It's awesome.
Oh man, like I remember the first machines I ever geeked out on, and I'm still a huge fan, is this dude John Clark here in Texas. It's Big Sandy. It's neither big nor sandy. It's in the middle of the woods somewhere in the middle of Texas. But he makes fucking amazing tattoo machines.
Yeah,
some
sick.
really dope biomechy fucking traditional like coil machines. Some amazing off the wall, crazy engineered. He grew up in like a watchmaker's machinist fucking, you know, shop or something like that. With his grandfather. But his machines are incredible. He's a very interesting human being. I've exchanged paintings with him and stuff like that for machines and stuff, and his machines are fucking like they're crazy. I'll do a showcase one of these days and have.
Well, that just made me think. Like, you know, machine builders in our industry are some of the most interesting people I've met because they love tattoos so much. But you know, some of them tattoo, some of them don't. The ones that don't tattoo can be like more or just as interesting. There's, you know, I'd love to have the person who taught me a lot. It's like Brett Stewart was my first ticket into the industry, and you know, like he trusted me a lot as far as eventually showing me the path to tattooing, and I helped him, you know, with his business, and he showed me how to build tattoo machines and all that sort of shit. So his brain is amazing. I told him he always had to write a book one day, but maybe we can just get him to come share some of that shit with us. And then, you know, any other machine builders would be awesome to have. I know, you know, rotary builders, I could get Byron from Injector. I'm sure, you know, plenty of people over there be interesting to talk to.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people who would be great to talk to. I mean, Mike Godfrey makes an amazing coil machine. Him and the guys from Black Thumb, Mike Pike, and the rest of the crew over there, like. There's a lot of guys who make really great coil machines that I really like.
Remember there was that other tattoo documentary years ago, and it had something about some machine builders. All I can think of is that Seth Safari. What's his name? Seth Safari.
Yeah, Seth Safari.
Was that a documentary just on the machines, or was that just a part of something he did?
I don't remember seeing any documentary, but I could be out of the loop on that. Like I would have thought if it had something to do with machines. I got a feeling it was like an Italian doco that was just like
touring around on the internet back in the Demonoid days when I used to just download anything that had the word tattoo in it. And yeah.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. I hadn't thought about stuff like that in a while.
Someone brought up
I-
Demonoid the other day, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I had so much cool shit on that. And then we talked about the standard, like, some people out there are gonna hate it, but the standard stolen files of everyone's books and the tattoo DVDs and the fucking, that shit was spreading around. That was good old Demonoid's fault.
Oh yeah, like all the Nico Hurtado and
Oh yeah,
fucking
every one of them was there. What are the other ones? Joe Capobianco, Joshua Carlton,
Mike DeVries.
yeah.
DeVries.
Luckily, I can say that I bought most of them myself, but that shit was getting around.
Same, or I haven't seen them. Some of them I haven't seen.
I think I've seen most of them over the years. Like going back to the being obsessed thing, man. Like, if you've got the internet and you've got some time, you can find some shit, whether it's ordering stuff or fucking spending money on there or just YouTube. And the amount of crap I've learned from YouTube, even just like recapping stuff that I already know, like going back and watching videos of how to draw heads, like, from a basic anatomy point,
Yeah.
We live in a crazy time.
I call it YouTube University.
Yeah.
People ask like, well, how did you learn how to do that? I was like, YouTube University. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I learned how to do this, what I'm doing right now because of YouTube. What did I need?
Yeah, everything. Same deal. YouTube and other podcasts about how to make podcasts. It's called the podcast. Yeah.
Yep.
It's not hard to find, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's if you look for it, but I keep reiterating this a lot. But like, people could be doing that, or they could keep up with the Kardashians.
Yeah, I think we're also living in the time of misinformation too. So there's plenty of bullshit out there.
True story.
It's all about deciphering, learning both sides, forming an unbiased opinion, huh?
I agree.
And then you can be biased as a motherfucker after that, because you learn something, hopefully. It's research is. I think I even said this last week. It's one of the most hilarious words thrown around on the internet these days.
I just don't understand
it. Sorry.
It's like it's. I don't know. It just brings me back to like all kinds of ridiculous beliefs that I can't understand too. It's at that level of disgust where I'm like, I can't believe you believe that. And it's along the flat earth stuff, but like I was just listening to something about the dinosaurs being fake.
Oh yeah.
Fake fossils.
Yeah, to test everybody's. Look at that glow. Ooh.
I mean, like, I don't know. It drives me crazy.
Common sense is not very common anymore, right?
I don't know, but I've been saying that for like 15 years.
It's still not sunk in. Hasn't sunk in for anybody yet. Come on.
No. I don't know. It seems extremely
bro.
Convenient. I'll get it. It seems extremely convenient to be able to, get all of the information that you ever want about any tiny niche, hobby, craft, anything like that.
Ooh, that got me.
And to not do it.
Got me. Lost me and got me.
Yeah. All I'm saying is like, okay, so like if I was into like Norwegian whistle making in the fucking 80s, I'd have to go to the library and hopefully look up a book or have them order a book from another library if they had something. But like right now, I could go do that right now, but I don't because I don't want to do that. But that it makes more sense to go,
commit,
man.
Commit
fucking
and
do
that.
something. Do something. It's so easy. We live in the future. I keep,
Yep. We pretty much are there, right? Like,
I'm using a big robot dick to smoke weed drugs that aren't even weed anymore because we've made it into like actual concentrates, just like drugs. And I live in the future. And I'm talking to my friend who lives on the other side of the planet.
Even more in the future.
Well, technically that's true. You can't keep hanging that over our head every episode.
I'll try for a while.
Yeah.
And until I like go somewhere else and like, or until you come here, maybe then we'll be in the same.
Fucking time traveler.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry,
interesting though. How does that
you just
work
got to
though?
come up with
Like,
a good one to like give me shit about it.
is this not the same time?
No, I don't know. It's all just because we get the sun earlier, the same sun, the same day earlier. It's
I
confusing.
guess so. Well, okay, I guess so. It's not.
If we started the day in the, in the other 12-hour period, then you would be ahead.
It's just really fucked.
Mm.
It's really fucked.
It's
How are
something
we
that-
supposed to beat that time difference, bro? Like, when is this really being made? Is
It's
it
in
at
international waters
2:19?
or in space. Maybe in space.
Because there's got to be some satellites involved, right?
Relative time is relative. So if we both fuck off into outer space, then are we behind or in front? I can't work that one out. If you've seen Interstellar, then it's just made your life more confusing trying to work that shit out.
But like, am I technically kind of like in some meta way like an astronaut? Because this definitely has to be going to like the satellites. This avatar of me definitely traveled to space. It got to, because it's not. There's no cables to fucking Australia from fucking Denver.
No, there's not. Yeah, we're in outer space, and then it's even going to be brought to you by outer space because this shit's not coming off my computer or yours when we load it. So
No.
it's out there in the interwebs. There's cool theories on the whole interwebs, and like back to the spiritual things. This is the Akashic record, and have you heard of that? And like different ideas from different cultures, being Native American, Indians, and Aboriginals, all have ideas that we gained knowledge through basically an interweb, or a web somewhere of knowledge that we pluck it from, in an ancient way. It's quite cool.
It's kind of interesting. I mean, I think that more sensible people would, or sensible people with quotes would say that maybe that's a metaphor for instinct. But I mean, for me, I'm like, okay, that sounds kind of cool, because like there's like a huge gigantic mycelium fucking net that
Oh yeah.
is the whole Pacific coast, like Northwest. And
Yep.
I'm like, that thing can communicate across itself. So maybe there is this network of knowledge that's like kind of like the Earth is alive.
It's not like there's a network of knowledge out there. It's just it's spot on what you just said. But it's just like that system works in so many ways that there is this natural way out there with what you just said then onto mycology, so mushrooms and all their mycelium and shit spreading all. That shit is continental. That is like a living organism on its own.
Yeah.
So we've just created this artificial version of the good old interwebs. It's crazy.
Well, I okay. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, there's a gigantic network of mycelium, and if you don't know what mycelium looks like, it looks like really fine, like cotton spread out through soil.
It's like tendrils.
And then mushrooms, fruits, they grow out of the top. That's like the fruit of the mycelium.
And some of them are magic, and it's amazing.
Yeah, those are special. Those are teachers.
They're
Those are
growing
wise teachers. We should,
it's mushroom season in Australia right now.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's mushroom season, we got to tell the ancient story of White Christmas and Santa Claus and the decorated tree. Is that a thing in Australia? Do you guys know that?
No, not a whole lot. I know bits and pieces, but no, not a whole lot.
Well, so
teach me, a wise one.
No, this is just some. This. I think this comes from the Netherlands, or it's Norwegian in some sense. But the story of Christmas, from my understanding, is that the reason we decorate a pine tree here is that there were sages who were these Nordic sages who would walk around and they would eat reindeer, but they would take these fresh magic mushrooms and they would dry them by placing them in trees, and so these mushrooms would be like decorations in trees, and then they would take these mushrooms and feed them to their reindeer and then drink the urine of the reindeer, because this type of psilocybin that grows up there is dead, or it can cause extreme discomfort, or it could kill you.
Yeah,
because they've tracked all this out. I watched this little documentary on it. It's pretty interesting.
Because we have deer in Australia that can eat magic mushrooms and they don't trip. So I'm guessing same, huh?
Yeah, so it filters out some of the crazy shit, and so they drink
Mm.
the pee, which is kind of gross. But these guys kind of look like Santa Claus.
But that's
Like they
science
have,
shit right there, you know. To
yeah,
work that out, that's pretty.
yeah, these says it's pretty smart guys. They're like,
Uh,
hey, I don't want to get fucked up. These are the only kind of mushrooms I can get.
Give it to that reindeer over there. See what happens.
So look, you got
Now drink
all of
its
those.
pee.
Yeah, you've got all those aspects of Santa
Yeah, that's cool.
right there. So that's Saint Nick. That's Saint Nick. He was a pagan. It's like a pagan thing, like a
Mhm.
pagan belief structure.
Yeah,
Um,
they all are people.
yeah. So fucking eat mushrooms. They're wise teachers, man. They're very
Mhm.
harsh teachers sometimes. So that's why I prefer LSD.
Ooh, I'm the opposite. I'll go the mushrooms over LSD any day. I feel like
Yeah,
I
you like downers. I like uppers.
maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. I feel like I have the control with mushrooms and then I can push the limits. Whereas like LSD, you're just in for a penny, in for a pound. Once you then you're done. But mushrooms, man, I like making a tea and build myself up on it and then fucking eat a heap.
I like losing hours.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
I
Yeah.
like
I mean,
just like
I've had a
and
tea with 100
yeah.
mushrooms in it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was
That's a
between
lot.
like three of us. That was. I've seen cells, man. I've seen TV. Like remember the old school TV static fuzz? Like, to the point
Mhm.
where it's just a couple of hours of that.
Yeah.
I thought I've actually died on mushroom.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then with LSD, I've never had those experiences. But
Mm-mm.
it still
I see
almost scares me
crazy
more. I've been
shit.
stuck in some LSD shit.
Oh man, like have you ever tried to draw? We talked about this, right?
Yeah,
Like trying to
yeah,
draw on LSD, and you
yeah,
just end up drawing like squiggles, and you just
yeah,
keep
yeah.
going down this hole, and you just and like I've gotten
It's
trapped
so
so
fun.
like I've drawn holes,
Yeah.
and then I'll get stuck in a big ass hole, and I'll do like I was using these big sumi pens that
Mhm.
are like brush tips, so I could make a huge mark, and I just blacked out the
Whoosh.
center, and I just like just flew into that motherfucker. I was like, "Oh God, it's over!"
Yeah, not
And
so
then
fun to start with.
yeah, but crazy, but fun.
That is fun.
It was good. I was like,
Yeah.
I fell into a hole there for a second.
I think that's I don't know
What's
if that's
good?
a tattooist thing. That's definitely an artist thing to want to experience weird things like that, huh? Just especially hallucinogens, something that can give you such a visual experience that can be really fucking
Uh,
hard to remember. It changes your brain, and it. I think a lot most of the time. I don't want to say all the time for the good, but you know, there's people that have come at it with drug-induced psychosis. It happens.
I mean, okay, so this is gonna sound bad after you just said that, but like I find that a lot of my friends,
Yeah.
not your, no, I'm not saying like anybody who's listening's
Not
friends,
everyone.
happen to have experience with psychedelic drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that it is a healthy experiment to at least think about testing the boundaries of your perception of reality.
Your own experience. Yep,
Boom.
totally agree.
Hold your breath. Do whatever you got.
Do it in
Not forever though. You'll die.
no, exactly. Don't overdo it. That's the key. I keep that shit for like, you know, I don't really party much anymore. So now like those experiences have become, you know, more,
Precious.
yeah, exactly right. So like going and picking mushrooms like once a year with some of the boys and stuff has become part of that experience. And then, you know, going and eating them and stuff now it's become a different thing. I'm not just like getting fucked up and seeing what happens. It's more actually like, sweet, let's do this and have some fun and, you know, sort out my brain for a while. And then, you know, every now if I feel like I need it in 6 months time, I'm like, sweet, I can do this shit again. But if not, I wait till next season and it
Well, why do
totally
you think
changes.
yeah, why do you think I mean, you know, it's perfect proof of why those traditions come to be in the first place. Why magic mushrooms are even a thing is the fact that
And why
ego,
governments ban them.
yeah, ego death is a healthy thing.
Oh yeah, scary as fuck.
Scary as fuck. Ego death is a good thing, and both of these drugs will teach you that in very, very different ways. I think mushrooms is better at getting it to the point, though.
I went to
In that
hell.
sense.
I full
Uh,
went to hell. Yeah, that was
yeah,
yep. That
yeah,
was
yeah.
to say I've seen it now. It was kind of fucking cool, but at the time I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. I've had to hide myself from reality in real life by like going into a closet with a blanket and playing my own music just to try to get through.
That was pretty close to my last LSD experience.
No, I've never had to do that on LSD. On mushrooms, I have had to do that.
Oh, really? That's funny. How brains
Yeah.
work, huh? Hmm? Yeah.
It's that whole upper downer thing. I swear to God, it's got to be that because, like, for me, like I love smoking sativas.
Uh-huh. I love the indica.
Yeah, to steal a line from Craig Ferguson, I thought cocaine was a vitamin that made you helped you drink more. You know.
That's how I first learnt about it.
Yeah.
I learnt that in England because the shit's pretty much cheaper to do than drink over there.
Yeah. It's
What was when I lived there anyway.
it's terrible. But I grew up next to Mexico, man. Like I think my parents kind of knew that. They were like, "Fuck, well, that's there so much. That's
It's
it. They'll
there.
figure it out." So I was really safe about it, and I didn't really fuck around with that until I went to Phoenix, and Phoenix really corrupted the shit out of me. I have
Yeah.
a real feeling that Phoenix, because it was a big city, and 70% of Phoenix wasn't Phoenician, so there was like all kinds of different people there. So
Yeah. How old were you
different
then?
aspects. Fresh out of high school, so like 17.
Yeah. 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 Crazy times.
Drinking with my older brother's ID because
Oh
he looks
yeah.
young.
Yeah, so like that's in Australia we can drink for 18 at the pubs. So you can sneak into pubs at like I was getting away with it at like 16 with some decent ID and just like
Yeah.
trying to keep a bit of bum fluff on my face.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was crazy because like when I was in high school, it was completely fine to go to Mexico. So like this was before all the real bad violence and all the
Yeah.
terrible shit that happened over there. So we would go to the strip in Mexico, and this was me in high school. Maybe like 16, 15.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Mexico and they have this thing called drink and drown there. You pay like $9 or $10 and you walk inside, you pay the cover and you just drink. You can tip the bartender to get faster service, but you don't pay for drinks.
Fucking hell.
The Mexico, man.
That's crazy.
That place was called the Tequila Derby. You guys can look it up. It's in Juarez, Mexico. It's was legendary for fucking underage drinking, sex, gambling, drugs, and rock and roll. All kinds of crazy shit went down in that motherfucker.
I went somewhere in Birmingham that wasn't that dissimilar. What the fuck was it? It was like £7 all you can drink for the night. They just gave you a cup and you just had to keep your cup. And they just keep filling it with whatever the fuck you ask for.
Well, see, this place was notorious.
Barrels of the fake version of that alcohol.
Oh yeah, I mean this was very much that. They were refilling their own bottles of Coronitas, and Coronitas are the small Corona bottles. So they would be filling them up in the back and recapping them. All the alcohol was watered down, and most of the alcohol was just straight cut Everclear in some part of other alcohol, so you never knew how much alcohol was in it because that was just the cheapest way for them to keep it in there.
That's awesome. Gotta love Mexico.
Dude. Oh man, just that living next to that place fucking corrupt the shit out of me.
That's so good.
Yeah, when you go down there with some Hispanic friends, being a white kid, and they can fucking get into places that I couldn't, talk my way into.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, I would go back. What did I went to Mexico 2 years ago. That was the only time I've ever been. It was awesome. I did Mexico City, Oaxaca, Puebla, and then actually went across to Cuba. That was a pretty interesting experience too. I love those sort of
places. Being in Cuba?
Oh, yeah, Cuba was cool, but even just Mexico, like, the food and just culture there is quite cool. It's different from anything we have on, from the Australian side of things. Obviously, it's more commonplace for you guys, but it was a different world coming from Australia. It was really cool.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine, some of those cultural differences just coming over there, just the food.
Yeah, we get a lot, we think we have a lot of Mexican food here, but we don't. We get like whatever influence we pick, European, American, Tex-Mex, none of it's really Mexican. So that was awesome, actually eating real Mexican food. But just, culturally, it's real cool because it's an older history than us. And then obviously has the Spanish influence, and then all the all the original people of those lands have some pretty cool monoliths and megaliths and stories and cultures. It's fucking cool. Goes back to the love of history, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, so much inspiration is derived off of like cultural inspirations from history, historical, science discoveries. I mean, just historical imagery is so popular in tattooing. Everything from like a tattoo. This lady, she's an archaeologist for the military, who she like examines sites for further development for the military, just to make sure there's nothing there that is going to get in the way of their development. And she's getting a big, Egypt sleeve. Which is, I think, is fairly interesting. That like has nothing to do with what that faith represents. It's the fact that it defines her.
Her as a person at this point. That's cool.
Yeah, pretty interesting. I think it reaches kind of like all those boundaries that we look at. I mean, her calling, her job is pretty neat. I mean, I always thought it was Indiana Jones, but it's nothing like that. It's just toothbrushes and hands and knees and dirt.
If only. We all wanted to be Indiana Jones. Huh?
Fuck yeah, I do. I want to fucking fight Nazis and find cool shit.
I think that's why I like Ancient Aliens so much. It's literally the collection of people that were like, I'm gonna be like fucking Indiana Jones, and I like aliens.
Trust me, I don't feel on the side of skepticism. I kind of want, the beginning of Stargate, the first movie, creeped me out enough to think that might be real, right?
Yeah.
Like it just creeped me out just enough to where I was like, I kind of wish that's kind of how this is going down right now. So I want it to happen.
I had someone this week tell me about the Saddam Hussein theory that he had a Stargate, and then it opened up a whole portal of us talking about the movie Stargate and everything all over again. So I got a Stargate tattoo on my toe. I love that shit.
Yeah. Fucking, that movie was like really kind of groundbreaking for me in the way I viewed cinema after that, because of how impactful like the whole plot was.
Yeah.
The fucking androgynous fucking antagonist in that movie is like, oh god, I was like, this is fucking weird. It really kind of freaked me out, kind of weirded me out as a young kid.
How old would you have been when you seen it?
I don't know. When did that fucking movie come out? Jamie?
Like
Jamie.
Jamie. I'm going to go with the early 90s, but I have no fucking idea.
I don't know. It might be late 80s. Let's see. Stargate.
I reckon it's like 92 is going to be my guess. 91, 92.
Okay, I like that guess. I'll take a guess. I haven't looked it up. I'm about to click go. Maybe like 89.
Yeah. Drum roll.
This was not SG-1, man. Just the fucking Stargate. What the fuck? I don't want to see that bullshit movie. I'm gonna type in movie. I just put in Stargate, people. I'm sorry.
I have to be honest. I still watched SG-1 when I was a kid, and when you're a kid, it's
so
good.
Did I.
I tried to watch it again later. It's not so good. But you know what's good about it? It has MacGyver in it.
Sammy, what did you say?
92.
Oh man, we were both wrong. 94.
What did you got? Ooh, 94.
1994. How old would I have been in 1994? I would have been.
I was 7.
Let's see. So 94.
I was born in 87.
So, and how old were you?
I would have been 7.
So I'd have been 8, 9.
When are you born? 86.
86.
Yeah. Maybe 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Very influential time on people. I think everything that I watched and like saw back then has still influenced me till now. Jurassic Park and all that kind of shit.
Dude, that fucked me forever, dude. Like I was just obsessed with
I already
velociraptors.
Before they came out, I was. And then I think it fucking made me shit myself twice as bad when I was like 6 and saw it at the cinema and seen someone get eaten by a T-Rex.
The fucking claw,
yeah.
That influenced me a lot.
So good. So good.
It was pretty good.
All right. We've hit a couple hour mark at least, so I think I'm gonna have one more flower. We can wrap it up, huh?
Yeah, I think that was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
let's see what was left on our list.
I got it up in front of me. I think we're pretty close. We went through the Chester and music, yeah, and then through spirituality and religion, and briefly on that, we can have someone else to debate religion properly on here one day. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. I think that'd be fun. I mean, I do want to say, all respect to Chester fans and Linkin Park and his family and all that stuff. It's tragedy, but
yeah, I was a huge fan of Linkin Park when I was little.
Yeah, so all respect and all that nonsense.
Exactly right.
I don't want to offend anybody.
Nah,
but if you're offended, let me know, because I'd love to find some trolls. I want somebody to fucking talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can tell you're waiting for this badly. He's like, come on, bring it.
Come on, motherfuckers.
And when I was like loading all this stuff up, my girlfriend was like, you can just like deactivate commenting. I'm like, nah, where's the fun in that?
I don't want to do that. Comment, please. Comment and say awesome shit. Content, is always welcome. If you have some interesting ideas or something you want us to talk about, especially if you're curious about tattooing. Exactly. If you get some hate, send it our way, because if we don't have haters, we're not doing it right. So.
Exactly. All right. Well, until next time, I reckon, huh?
Yeah. Welcome to the end of the second.
Yep, second episode.
Yeah, of the Tattooed Mind.
Yeah. All right. Peace out. Peace out, David. Until next week.
Peace.
Peace out, yo.